This right here is the Thompson M1A1, gas blowback version made by WE Airsoft, one of the most iconic submachine guns of the 20th century. This is a new series on the channel where I do it before you buy a review of gas blowbacks. Unbiased since I didn't have this sent to me, and I'll actually give my own opinion after multiple games, where I list all the pros and cons, upgrades and aftermarket compatibilities to decide if this is the right choice for you. I'll also give it my own special pass in the end, so let's roll the intro. The Thompson M1A1, often called the Tommy gun, is one of history's most iconic weapons. The first version of the Thompson was introduced in 1919, but it wasn't until the 30s it became widely known, especially during the Prohibition era, when it was used by both law enforcement and criminals. The M1A1 version, introduced in 1942, was a simplified, cost-effective model used by US forces. It had a high rate of fire and stick magazine, unlike the previous drum magazine. The WE Thompson M1A1 is a good replica of the M1A1, and it feels like it's made for enthusiasts. But let's get right into it. If you want more reviews, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you can watch all my videos. Now, how does this compare to a real Tommy? Now, I don't have a real Thompson in hand, but spoken to an enthusiast about the comparison. Here's what we found out. The real Tommy is made of mostly steel, where the WE Thompson is made of alloy metal to mimic real steel. The WE version has polymer plastic grip, handguard, and stock compared to real wood. The WE weighs less than the real Thompson, coming out at 2.7 kilos or 6 pounds, while the real one is at 4.9 kilos or 10.8 pounds with the mag, and 4.5 or almost 10 pounds without. The bolt is pretty close in looks compared to the real steel version and kicks maybe around half of the real version. The real Thompson fires a .45 ACP ammo, where the WE GBB uses 6mm BBs, which is a significant difference in terms of both projectile and power. The WE version also uses green gas, which is compressed gas used to power the blowback mechanism and propel the BBs. The real Thompson comes out at 600 RPM and can perform up to 100 meters, while the Airsoft version shoots out at 1.2 Joule and can maybe shoot 2 to 30 meters. Now we can move on to the build quality, externals and internals. The WE Thompson has a solid, realistic build with a metal receiver. It's got polymer wood furniture, which may put some people off, but the polymer wood is actually quite well made and pretty durable, even with all the scratches I got on mine. It's got a 50 round stick magazine that adds to the realism, though it can be heavy when fully loaded. It's also kinda hard to reload, as the metal rail has very little space to go in through, so grease is necessary. The magazines also have a huge leaking problem, which I'll go into detail later on, and trust me, you're gonna wanna hear that. As for the bolt, it provides a really satisfying recoil, and most of it is also metal. It's also got kinda alright gas efficiency with 2 mags of shots per full round. Now let's talk performance. The WE Thompson M1A1 uses green gas, and the GBB system provides it with a realistic blowback action. The recoil is strong and satisfying, stimulating the real feel of a Thompson, however not that close. The gas efficiency around 2 to 2.5 mags of 50 depending on the weather and what gas you use. In terms of accuracy, the M1A1 is effective at medium to close range with a good amount of punch behind every shot. The hop-up is easy adjustable, and with some fine-tuning you can get a decent trajectory on those BBs. However, this isn't an assault rifle, so don't expect long-range precision. It's all about that iconic submachine gun feel. This isn't a quiet replica by any means, it's quite loud, and if you're in a CQB environment, it'll definitely attract attention. It's almost as long as a 30cm or 11-inch AR and doesn't actually feel like a submachine gun to go around, which makes it harder for CQB. Now we can move over to the issues and fixes. The outer barrel is in 2 pieces held down by 1 screw, which wobbles a lot, so it needs a bit of Loctite to fix this. But here's the main issue. The magazines have a huge leaking problem, which is caused by poor metal casting. It makes the O-ring jump out of place, and the way to fix this is to disassemble the whole magazine, check if the O-rings has holes, and grease it, and put it back into place. I've made a disassembly video both of the replica and the magazines, and also if you want to fix the leaky magazines, I'll link it down below so you can watch it yourself. This thing doesn't have a lot of aftermarket parts, however I did find the TNT retrofit kit with a complete hop-up unit and a barrel kit that I've also installed on mine. And I also found the real steel kit from Mafioso that comes out to $1,000. However, only your imagination is the limit. As for 3D printing, this thing has quite a bit of files available online. I have fully modernized my Thompson, which I'll put a link down below if you wish to watch. But it's got an M4 style buffer tube and stock, and also full rail so it can have grips, laser, flashlight, and aiming device. Now for the smasher pass. In terms of capturing the look and feel, they've made a great job. This thing will look good on a shelf or for a couple of shots here and there. However, after playing it with even for a whole day, I cannot recommend this for airsoft. This thing gets a pass as the poor metal casting in the magazines and how fast it makes the magazine start leaking is unbearable and pretty damn annoying to put out with. Unless you want to disassemble the magazines after literally every single game, do not get it, as it feels like it isn't made for airsoft and therefore gets a pass. I would rate this thing 4.5 pass out of 10 for performance and 7.5 out of 10 for looks. Hopefully this video has cleared some things for you, and don't just take my word for it, doing your own research. Now, as always, thanks for watching and see you in the next video.